कुछ होने में और बहुत कुछ होने में इतना सा फर्क है, एक बार सोच के छोड़ देने में और लग के कर दिखाने में। मान लेने में कि जिंदगी ऐसे ही कटेगी और सुबह 4 बजे उठ के सोचने में ये अभी तो बस शुरुआत है। किसी मैगजीन को हाथ में लेने में और उसी मैगजीन के कवर पेज पे होने में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वीआईपी सीट में और उसकी पिछली सीट में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वो जिसका मैदान ही खुला आसमान है, वही कल जमीन पर तो था। पूछोगे तो बताएगा वो पंछी, ये एक दायरे में सिमटने में और पूरी दुनिया को दायरा बनाने में बस इतना सा फर्क है। इतना कितना है? इतना है या इतना है? जो नापेगा वो जाने कि जहां धरती और आसमान मिलते हैं, नानकुर से दूर, अगर मगर शायद से दूर, वहां भी दोनों में फर्क बस इतना सा ही। धरती और 7वें आसमान में फर्क बस इतना सा। ये एक अंतर प्रेरणा है। ये हमारी, आपकी, हम सब की अंतर प्रेरणा है। एक कदम, एक छलांग, एक बाजी, एक गहरी सांस और एक ललकार खुली हवाओं में कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन फिजाओं के लिए, कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन ऊंचाइयों के लिए जो ऊंची तो बहुत है पर नामुमकिन भी नहीं, क्योंकि मुमकिन और नामुमकिन में बस इतना सा फर्क। धूप छांव में फर्क बस इतना सा। तो बस चलिए फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया के साथ ये फर्क मिटा देते हैं। फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया, 20 years of ideas.
Good afternoon, everyone. We welcome all of you to our Business Opportunity Over Chai webinar series. This is a digital presentation of the business opportunity which Franchise India team is delighted to launch for all of you. It's a 45-minute session first where we invite the brand team to talk about their offering and how you can become a partner with them. Then we'll move towards a panel discussion. There is a question and answer box, so requesting each one of you to share your suggestion, feedback in the same. We welcome management team of Franchise India, Gaurav sir and Sonia ma'am, both as a team leading this particular webinar. And the business opportunity which Franchise India team is launching today is the Organic World, Bangalore-based organic retail chain offering holistic wellness solution. The Organic World was started with a mission to make a positive and a progressive difference to the world we live in. The company was launched in 2013, offering everything you need to build your healthy home, from organic certified foods, vegetable, and whatnot. Currently, they are running their 13 successful stores. We have invited today Mr. Karthik, who is the Chief Operating Officer. We have also invited and we welcome Mr. Divakar, who is a finance head. Thank you so much, Karthik. Thank you so much, Divakar, for joining in today. May we request you to start the presentation as well as launch your brand with us.
Thank you, Ashna, and welcome, Karthik ji. Friends, I'll request all of you, we'll take you through this presentation, and any questions that you have, please use the Q&A box. And to also give a brief, understanding on the company. The company started with organic fruit and vegetables, when they started back, and they quickly moved to organic living and, bring health choices to consumers in a more affordable way. And they started penetrating and creating, I would say, clusters in Bangalore with already, more than 10 odd locations, which they're already running out within Bangalore. And the company has exhaustive range of categories and SKUs, from personal care, F&B, grocery, home essentials, snacks, and also wellness and gardening products. And this is a very interesting category. And I would say the industry has also started to evolve while, it was and still continues to be in a nascent stage, but there's a growing health awareness and demand. And the interesting thing about Organic World, and like many of the companies, that have come in this business, is the SKU mix, and I would say the overall product line, which makes this business very, very attractive. And they already have a successful prototype running outlet locations, which they have been successfully operating in in Bangalore. Over to you, Karthik ji. And before, I let you start the presentation, I'll also request if you can start, with giving a little perspective about, how you started the business and what was the foundation, and the reason behind and the problem that you were trying to solve then.
Sure. Thank you, Sonia. Good afternoon, everybody. In the next 20-25 minutes, I'll take you through the company background, our core business model, our offerings, and certain details on the franchisee model as such. To start with what you had asked for. So the whole, the origin of the company was based on that we have 40-acre farm outside Bangalore, which is 100% organically grown fresh vegetables and greens, which were getting supplied to certain section of Bangalore. And we thought, why not go into the front end as a retail setup so that we can extend our offerings to consumers across Bangalore. And then as we started with primarily a fresh shop, we quickly ramped up to the other categories products, because we realized it's not just the fruits and vegetables where there's an opportunity to make a difference in our consumers' life, but actually all the other categories, the daily consumption products, are also equally requiring attention to give clean, safe products for the everyday consumption of the family and every household. And hence a full-fledged retail chain got set up. And also we realized there's a huge opportunity towards offering sustainable products, not just fruits, vegetables, or staples or everyday items. It also spans into your home and living products, which are usually called as general merchandise. And hence the variety also spread into beyond daily essentials into lifestyle products, so that there is a holistic opportunity to elevate consumers' life into a clean, safe, sustainable living as a holistic solution model. And hence it became a well-rounded retail offering when we started. So I'll quickly move on to the other areas. So company overview, as was mentioned, we have been entrenched into this over the last 8 years, but particularly in the last 5 years, supported with a strong scalable model. The fundamental idea is to provide healthier, chemical-free, and also eco-friendly lifestyle through our offerings, cutting across categories. So in short, I can say that we are all very used to the regular grocery market provided by the big brands of Reliance Fresh or a Big Bazaar or a Neilgris or any other supermarket that you typically shop from. So what the organic world's endeavor to become is a great substitute for the regular grocery, where every household has an opportunity shop for everything for their home under one roof, but gives a very distinct advantage for your family's health. At the same time, give a great option for the other stakeholders in the form of environment, or for the community, or for the artisans, and so on and so forth. So it's a very holistic solution that comes under one roof from the regular grocery that people are used to shop from the neighborhood supermarket. So we are present in Bangalore. We have 13 plus stores with a very strong omni-channel present, and we look to expand with the model that's well set now. Vision. So the vision is to become a holistic wellness solution under one roof, not just in the form of products, but also in the form of experience. The vision is to become the largest omni-channel retailer in India, penetrating the maximum number of households and helping the consumer to transition from what they are used to now into a very healthier, sustainable lifestyle, right? That's what our vision is. And as a mission, our mission is to provide the maximum variety of products under one roof, which is all chemical, preservative-free, organic, natural products, cutting across categories. So as a concept, as a core of the offering, on the right side, it's just an illustration. The important part is to understand we have banned 25 chemicals which do not go into any of the products across any of the categories, whether it's food or non-food, personal care or home care, cleaners, whatever products you may take, you can be blindfolded. There are 25 chemicals there are 25 harmful ingredients which are believed to be harmful for humans' health. are kept outside any of our products. And we have positive virtues which make each of our product healthier for making a conscious choice. So we call ourselves a responsible retailer, which any product picked from us are better choices for consumers in terms of they are safe, they are clean, and also healthier. And as a concept, we provide everything that a household needs, from a fruits and vegetables to a home care to a personal care. We have a stringent quality control process and a team who scrutinize every product that comes on the shelf. Again, something called not in our eye list. Not in our eye list in a simpler way of putting. It's nothing but we have a checklist against which each product is checked and scrutinized. Only then it goes on the shelf for our consumer. And we have a very strong traceability model in terms of where our fruits and vegetables are sourced and what the cultivation pattern is. Similarly, our staples having the organic certified process, which passes the stringent USDA and the Euro norms. And our home care products don't have the toxins, chemicals, and acids, which also means it becomes a sustainable option for the environment. Moving on, a very high background. I'm sure all of you could be aware the consciousness of the on the health is growing by the day due to different reasons in the form of health risks and also the aspiration for the health benefit. And hence we are perfectly placed to tap into the market. As an industry, the market has been growing at a rapid pace of 30% plus, especially fueled in the last 2 years through the pandemic. There is a very clear awareness that's happening in the market among the consumers to look for better choices. And as a company and as a brand, we are clearly ahead of the market growth in terms of our own growth being ahead of and accelerating against the what the market growth has been. So this is purely on the consumer behavior. All of us are consumers of our everyday essentials. I'm sure you would be aware that there is a change in mindset of our consumers in their aspiration and ask for healthier choices, better choices, safer choices, and they are increasingly conscious of what they consume and what their family consumes. On top of it, there is also an increased awareness among consumers to be being good for the environment, fueled by the climate change awareness and the contribution that each one of us should be making. So there is a clear, distinct shift in the consumer behavior, and we are well positioned to meet the aspiration of the growing consumer segment in the space. So in terms of the presence, in terms of the target consumer persona, the customer persona whom we serve, earlier days, it used to be only in metros and the tier 1 cities. But you would well be aware that in terms of the awareness and the wants and the aspirations, it's quickly moving on beyond the metros and the tier 1 cities, even in the tier 2 cities, where there is a good level of appreciation and acknowledgement for clean, safe products, whether for food or for non-food. And hence the growth story is not just in the metro, but it goes well beyond, and hence the opportunity to grow with the market aspiration as part of what we are offering. So what do we offer? We offer across the spectrum of products in the highest level of purity, which is organic, which are having a very clear defined standards, but also natural products and the chemical-free products. What it means is that every category are having something called a no-no in terms of certain ingredients which are not good for, which are not suggested for the human consumption. Whether it's fruits, vegetables, or the milk, or the dairy products, or food, or personal care, or home care, every category has certain elements that is preferred to be kept out for our everyday use. So we make and provide everything that are clean and safe. At the same time, for home and living products, which are not directly consumed as part of the human body, we focus on bringing products which are environmentally safe and supporting on the artisans, which are handmade, made through certain specialized skill set as part of supporting our community. So some of the adherence that some of the key category products go through Javik Bharat, USDA Organic, FSAI, which is the bare minimum to sell any food products, and certain product categories which are also certified as being good for export to Europe. So where does it fit in against the competition? So the uniqueness of the organic world as a brand is it's not a category level brand. It's not one channel of brand. It's a brand that cuts across categories. As I mentioned, it's a supermarket of its own, where it can completely substitute what our normal customers are used to in shopping in the neighborhood market. We provide a healthier switch, a better switch through our varieties of categories and the products with a strong range of 3,000 plus products, which is a classic supermarket assortment collection of 2,000 plus square feet sized shop. So we are not a particular brand which only offers a fruits and vegetables or only offers a particular type of staples. We cut across categories, which means it becomes a one-stop shop for the consumer. It becomes a destination shopping. It becomes an experiential shopping where the consumers get beyond just the product, where the level of engagement, education is significant. In parallel to that, as a brand, we have a significant advantage of working with 200 plus vendors across products, probably the biggest chain in terms of our supplier engagement. It's a multi-brand store. It's not just a private label, it's a multi-brand store. We believing in the efficiency coming through supply chain. We have a 15,000 square feet warehouse in Bangalore, which fulfills all the needs and the growing volume. As I mentioned, we have a 3,000 plus assortment that currently as of today that we have. And we have a both strong offline and an online presence. On top of it, our brand building and marketing abilities are significant in terms of ramping up our brand, where it becomes a household name. So whatever I just spoke through are mentioned here. A very beautiful, good-looking store, clean shopping experience, a modern shopping experience which clubs engagement and experience. And we strongly believe in the quality and hence a strong quality audit process in the back end, right from the source till it reaches the consumer. So we are as good as what any of the modern brand names that you'd be aware in the market in terms of delivering the consumer experience in the retail front, right? So some of the pictures on how the store looks like, what it feels, an excellent shopping experience for consumer who walks in. Fundamentally, it is fueled by the strong value proposition, which is making the whole assortment available under one roof. But it's not just that, it's also affordable. We are working towards a model where the organic fruits and vegetables, which are highly nutritious, without any chemical pesticide residue, is offered very close to the conventional fruits and vegetables price, and hence making it affordable. Accessible, we want to penetrate every catchment where we are truly a healthier alternative for the consumer in the neighborhood, where they prefer us as the destination shopping for their daily essentials. We are adaptable from the point that the growing aspiration of the consumers are met not just by the shopping experience, but the right technology, the right customer service, the right the customer care through the technology coming through as per our modern shopping experience, what the consumers are used to now these days, especially our TG, the technology aspects coming through for making it adaptable, and most importantly, an enjoyable shopping experience that's making it an acceptable format where they believe it becomes a destination of their choice. So very quickly touching upon what we are looking at for the franchisee option, we are looking at a 4-4 model where the ownerships and the investments and the operations is run by the franchisee, and the revenue is taken by the franchisee, managing their expenses well. What do they get? They get the brand, which is quite powerful and known for in the space as the market leader. We have to comply with the brand guidelines, which we will help you put in place. What we will also bring in a very strong SOP, the retail experience and the operational excellence coming through. We also bring on the table the supply chain efficiency by which you can deliver on the customer promise that we have an experience about. And most importantly, the whole customer experience as a retail store is on the table, where we train and hold hands with you to deliver a great shopping experience, in not just as a retail store in terms of the products, but also very strong engagement and experience for the customers. So what would we want as an ideal profile? People who have the zest for driving a business model which is a sunrise industry, a business acumen to understand what consumers want, and most importantly, believe in the ability to meet the aspirations of the consumers, because the target consumer segment walk in with certain expectation. So we are looking at people who have the passion for customer experience, and be able to do the right things for consumers. Rest, everything is brought on the table in the form of the richness of the product variety, the richness of the consumer experience in the form of why we are offering better choices, and hence the training that comes along. We bring a strong experience of supply chain efficiency, which means the product reaches your doorstep. So all of that, and a strong finance and accounts team who will make your life easier through the reconciliations and the payments, etc. All that comes on board without saying. But what we are looking at is passionate people who believe in the purpose of the brand. I think that's the most important thing to understand. It's not just a business, it's a business with a purpose, business with a larger cause in our ability to transform consumers' life, offering them a great set of health and wellness products, clean and safe products, by which we not just sell, but we also go through a beautiful transition in the market of educating, engaging, and converting customers to be loyal customers, not just for you or the brand, but for a healthier lifestyle. So we are looking at partners who believe in the larger purpose of this sunrise industry and being a part of it, and making a significant difference to a lifestyle of a consumer, and in the process run a brilliant store operations, experiential setup with a brand who will be hand-holding you and taking you in that journey. So what do we look at? 40 lakhs of investment. It would be great if you're a store owner, which means you already have a space to get started with certain investment of 40 lakhs that comprises of everything which I'll cover here, which will cover the fit outs, the branding, signage, along with the inventory that comes in, including the pre-opening and the franchisee fees, with a payback period of around 45-46 months, and a business potential of clocking close to 2.5 crore for the year. And the area of the store required will be 1,000 square feet, preferably if you have your own space. Nothing like it, we can get going on an immediate basis. And our plans are significant. We want to start with Bangalore in the next 3 months. What we mean by the next 3 months is that not just identify and onboard partners with a like-minded culture and the belief in the purpose, but also give them a 12 weeks of operational stability, and quickly go into a ramp-up mode to the other cities of Chennai, Hyderabad, Mumbai. We are absolutely open for getting into any other cities, because the beauty about India is that India is on a fast track trajectory, especially for the space on the health and wellness, in the consumer's aspiration for clean, safe food, as well as non-food. So we are open for other cities in South to get started with in the next 6 to 12 months. And growth is the story. Sustainable, scalable growth is what we believe in. And we are looking for partners who also believe in the scalable, sustainable growth stories. So where will the franchisees get assistance in? We have a very, very strong experience in our site selection. If you're aware of Bangalore, all our stores are in absolute brilliant locations, handpicked. We have a very strong experience in the interior design and architecture and setting up the site, including the best-in-class vendors. So we'll be happy to pass on our vendor contacts so that you'll be able to leverage them at the best cost possible. The technology, training, support, including the standard operating procedure, everything comes along with becoming partners. And most importantly, then the brand and the marketing push that we are quite good at also comes along. So what do we get as an ongoing basis? We have a very strong trade plan in terms of not just the brand promotion, but also knowing what it takes to drive the trade. Trade in retail parlance means driving sales. What it takes to drive sales through customer engagement and product proportion. We have a certain level of written support for the slow moving items. Along with that comes supporting you with operations audits, trainings, quality audits, giving you the manuals, etc., by which the operational excellence can be passed on to you, where you focus on customer service, engagement, building a loyal set of your customers in your catchment where your stores present in, and we'll be giving you the retail expertise to run a retail store which will be best in class. So the opportunity is the vast India. I believe across India as a market, we have a brand strength that can be leveraged in whichever market we go into. We have a very strong go-to-market strategy under plan, which can make the brand a household name. Along with that, the franchisee benefit that comes along in the form of all the franchisee supports, and without saying the commercials that come along, which will make it a profitable, sustainable model for our partners. So I think I've been able to cover it in the 25 minutes. We have 32 minutes left. We'll be happy to take the questions along if anybody has any questions. So I'm also joined by Divakar Prabhu, who's the head of finance, who will be able to answer you on any questions on the finance and the commercial aspects.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Karthik. And thank you, Divakar. And friends, I'll request all of you, if you have any questions, and also if you have a location available, you can all put that in the Q&A box, and we'll take that one by one. At the same time, I'll also say we also holding a special discovery day in the coming week, where all of you who are keen to explore, and more importantly, I would say, because they already run more than 13 odd locations currently in Bangalore. Anybody who wants to visit and have an experience of their existing stores, please reach out to us, and we'll facilitate that visit for all of you. And just to quickly, friends, recap on the opportunity and the model. And organic, like I mentioned, is a industry which is fast catching up, and retailing as far as the overall FMCG, fruit, vegetable, all that is concerned. And most of these companies have a full stack model which is very well backward integrated with farmers and suppliers. And if you look at the overall supply chain, and typical organic supply chain is comparatively more efficient as compared to maybe conventional agri businesses. As in an organic supply chain, there are lesser intermediaries in the value chain, and there is a better control on quality, there's a better control on cost, and most important, I would say, also the traceability of the product. And traceability is something which is also fast gaining a lot of importance with the consumers. And as far as the other supply structure is concerned, you have a lot of intermediaries in between, which also takes up or eats a lot of margin from the business. So when you have lesser I would say intermediaries in the business in overall value chain, so which also means that the company, the brand, is also able to pass on that margin to the franchise partner, and also to the end consumer. And second thing, since they already have that in place with these 13 odd locations already running, the company would also have better economies of scale where these products can be procured and supplied. And if you look at how the business and the industry has evolved, and especially the last, I would say, couple of years, and more during the pandemic and post-pandemic period, today most of the consumers who are actually buying staple, they might not be regular consumers of organic products, so to say, but they're all experimenting with the product, and they buy at least one organic product overall when they do their monthly shopping. So they have right assortment, category mix through their stores, which is creating a complete experience for a consumer. Now, when it comes to organic product, people also need to be educated on the usage and effects, and that's where a experiential store creates a lot of impact and value for the people. And this is more of a subscription-led model, where you have a captive audience, your target audience, your neighborhood, and they typically would buy on a monthly basis over a period of time. Their ticket size also increases because they would experiment with the sort of new products, and they make them, part of their lifestyle, which I think Karthik also made a mention of. So we're talking about a franchisee-owned, franchisee-operated model where you would own the business, you would operate the model, and the area requirement is about 1,000 square feet. The overall outlay of the investment is 39 lakhs, out of which we've also included 10 lakhs, which is the working capital towards inventory. That also has been included in the initial investment. So if you look at that breakup, 29 lakhs is the overall investment that you want to that requires to be made in the outlet, and additional 10 lakhs is the working capital towards the inventory and that needs to be put. Now, Karthik, my initial, my first question to you would be, now being a lead player in the organic retail, how have you seen the industry evolve in the last many years, and in terms of the consumer adoption of the category, how do you see the repeat case coming, and also I would say the target audience, which is opinion makers or people who are fast adopting this category, and which would be the categories out of the entire, I would say, broad categories that we have, that you see are comparatively high on demand, and what are the categories that you see people experimenting more over?
Right. So that's an interesting set of questions. So over the last 5 years, since I've been very closely observing things on the ground, I can tell you that there is a significant shift in the way the consumers look at this particular set of products. It started by where only the very privileged and aware, evolved customers started. But now it's actually reached a stage where even a middle class, upper middle class, so it used to be going from a tier of SEC A plus was the one whom we are getting 5 years back. Now it has come to a stage of even an SEC B plus starting to adopt, even in a small but a very steady way, which means they have started with, even if it's only fruits and vegetables, select fruits and vegetables, that they have started making a conscious choice of making a switch. So the market is growing in a rapid phase in the form of consumer awareness and adopting to this. That's one significant change that has happened. It's no more a buzzword. So 5 years back, the whole organic was a buzzword now. So we used to be putting a lot of effort in telling what is organic. Now we don't even do that, because awareness of that is quite significant, and it's only about giving great set of products, brands at a great price. It has reached that stage. All right. Second thing is the supply chain and the whole vendor base, supplier base, which is a very critical aspect for any retail industry to be successful, has seen a significant movement where there are more serious players, bigger brands coming in who are making investments in the space because they are seeing a huge potential coming forward. And as a retailer, we are best positioned to tap the best of both worlds, where not just supplier maturity and the vendor maturity improving, the supply chain maturity improving, but also the consumer maturity improving in terms of adapting, and retailers become the bridge between the supply and the demand, and that's a big plus that's happening. Number three, the beauty of the evolution is also that consumers are not necessarily penny pinching or very price sensitive. They appreciate the goodness that comes with the product, but most importantly, they appreciate value. So it's our responsibility to make sure the value is felt for the consumer in whatever we give, and hence the value we give is not just on the price. Of course, we have some great promotions, offers, because we want consumers to make it as a monthly lifestyle choice and not just purchase of products, because that's what it's important. So it's not just the price game, but also the value game in the form of customers appreciating what happens in the background in the farmer's side to grow something organic, what happens on a personal care vendor, how they curate products in terms of the ingredients, which is actually healthier for customers. So there's a lot of education that's happening. That's a very fast evolving trend in the industry, where the consumers, when they walk into your store, they will not only say, hey, you're giving us Sona Masuri rice for 99 rupees per kg. They won't mind paying that, but they expect the retailer as a trend to answer, hey, what is special about it? Where does it come from in the form of source and the traceability? So some of the trends have been really advantageous and welcoming, and we are best placed to leverage those trends that are coming through.
Absolutely. And my other question would also be, because this is a business model or a product, which needs to be at the right locations also. We need to be at places where I already have a captive audience or opinion makers. So what would be your advice on the kind of locations we need to pick? And I'm sure you have a lot of experience with these 13 locations you've already opened up. So what kind of locations work for a business like this?
Right. So I think the franchisee, the partners needs to be clear whether they want to build themselves as a destination store reaching the entire catchment, which means we strongly recommend the primary main road or the secondary main road, as we call it, for a good facade to be there, so that naturally the customers are able to spot you and come with a good parking facility, primarily because the target group customers expect certain level of service, which starts with a parking space that's available. From a catchment point, we recommend catchments which are relatively matured. We can pass on what kind of brands needs to be present in the vicinity, because or the restaurants or the F&B space that needs to be nearby you, because the TG tend to go towards certain set of brands that are present in the vicinity, and hence they would prefer to be there. So I will expect a catchment which is a bit matured in terms of the TGs that we target, and in the primary or the secondary main road preferably, so that the visibility is there. If they want to go inside the interior space, it's not a problem. They will have certain advantage in the form of rentals, but we'll have to work a bit harder in terms of driving the walk-in, which is achievable. It's not that it's impossible. But most important part is to understand wherever we open the store, the ability to make a customer as a lifetime loyalty is the key, because the consumers don't make a choice because of the price. They make a choice because of their conscious decision to switch to a healthier lifestyle, and hence the customer service becomes the key. Primary, secondary, main road is preferable, but it doesn't hurt if you want to go into a crossroad due to certain commercial reasons.
Sure. And I'll also take, questions. Arunji, you have a lot of questions, and I'll take a question now on the business, efficiencies, the model, unit economics, how does that work? Overall investment we've talked about, and just for the sake of repeating, Arunji had asked on the investment. Arunji, this is about 39 lakhs. So where 10 lakhs is your working capital, which is towards the inventory. Now, understanding, how it operates on a unit, level, typically, what kind of rentals are we suggesting, Karthik? One, what kind of margins overall, we have in the category? Are we looking at category wise or SQ? I don't know. If we have a big assortment, we're looking at assortment wise margins. We have some blanket margins, blended margins. So, if you want to give little understanding on that, on cost, rental margins, product, and what would be the, average margin partner would have at the end of the month.
Sure. So we are looking at a flat margin structure of 25% of any product that's taken, except for milk, which is a very low margin product because we ourselves don't have it. So except for milk, rest of the products, including anything on the fruits and vegetables, we want to make it a flat margin at a invoice level, primarily because that gives a much stronger stability for the franchisee to plan their operations rather than going into a margin mix and going into the complexity of
right.
So we are absorbing the challenges at our vendor category level, vendor negotiation, extra, all that's a back-end challenge which we are observing. We want to keep the franchisees very smooth and at ease as part of their operation. So we are giving a flat 25%, which I believe is a big plus.
Yes, that's right.
Especially in this space. And so that eliminates a lot of questions on, hey, do we want to focus on this category or do we want to focus on that product? Game is very simple. Offer the entire basket to the customer, because anything that you sell, you're going to get 25. That's question number one. Number two, to drive sales, typically you need strong offers, promotions. At the end of it, these are daily essentials. People will always ask, hey, am I getting a deal, right? Whether you are, even if you're going to buy a luxury car, that questions naturally comes from the consumer's expectation. So we have a lot of money that we pump in from the back end for products, categories, bills, etc., as deals and offers, which we are absorbing at our front, which primarily makes it very attractive for the franchisee to have a strong deal that runs in the store for them to push the trade. So the margin is flat and they can make the best out of it as they run it. Then coming more to the question, if it is about minimum guarantee, there is nothing called a minimum guarantee. So that's what we have put a very clear roadmap to say what's the expected sale on a month on a growth trajectory for a year 1, year 2, year 3. We believe the market is growing and it's maturing. With the right partnership, there shouldn't be a problem in delivering what is expected. So and hence there is no minimum guarantee, but we'll be giving every possible support to make every franchisee partner successful, because it's also our brand, and there is no reason for us to be cutting the slack or being laid back in this approach. So we are looking at a pan-India presence. So we'll be putting all our ammunition forward to win in the market. And hence, we don't believe the minimum guarantee is necessarily a need in the space. Shall I address any other question?
I think other, which I wanted you to explain, when we look at the overall sales, I think you've also shown typical, average sales, and how long does it take to reach that kind of number? What on an average are we looking at month on month? Because this is also, a volume business, so to say, and comparatively, you talked about margins. If you look at the local, or the, traditional kirana business, it runs on a very low margin, 7%, 8%, 10% is the average margin one gets, and we have higher margins here. Now, when we look at other expenses, typically my cost of salaries, people in the outlet, what kind of rentals are we looking at, and all put together, what is the kind of, the average, I would say, throughput of a store, efficiencies, so to say, and what would a franchise partner make after taking out all these expenses, both on maybe absolute amount on an average and maybe a percentage, if you can cite an example of based on the existing store experience.
Right. So what we are expecting is, since you also asked the question, the previous question also had something like a rental
Yes.
idea of. So we should take a ballpark number of 70 to 100 rupees per square feet in a good location. It's definitely possible and achievable. Now, considering that rental with a minimum number of 6 people working in the store, with certain operating expenses that come along in terms of running the store, like electricity and stuff, we are looking to make something like a 17 to 18 lakhs per month after a certain level of maturity in the catchment of 9 to 12 months time. So typically the monthly expenses in the store would be around 2.5 lakhs. 2.5 lakhs is what I would put as a typical monthly expenses that will happen in a store like this, presuming that the franchisee partner has an active role in running the store, and hence have a kind of a store manager equivalent who's giving the right support to run the day-to-day operations and with certain staff. At the same time, being efficient in your operation, where you know how to manage the security needs without having to have a security guard at a high expense or having a housekeeping staff at higher expense, but they know how to really keep the store standards going and keep the expenses within limit. So we would put something like something like a 1.5 lakh to 2 lakhs per month as the return that should sit in on a matured state of operations kicking in.
All right. And now when we look at go to market, for a new neighborhood, while we already have a captive audience and we've been doing well in the locations we currently are, but what would be an ideal, strategy for us in terms of, going to market for a new partner? What is that you would advise him? What is the support that the company would also offer him? Both, I would say, a city like Bangalore, where we already have presence in, and also maybe when we move to a city like Chennai, Hyderabad, other locations where we currently, might not have a presence. So what is your suggestion on this go to market and the support for a franchise partner?
Right. So the good thing is we are a strong, I would say, corporate process structure established, and we believe we have multiple brands, consumer brands, just to let everybody know. So we have the Organic World, we have Maple Tree Farms, which is a farm company. We have consumer brands in the food, non-food, personal care, home care space. They're all consumer brands, and so they are product companies. So we have a very strong setup as an organization structure, and hence, so the reason I'm saying this is we have a strong structure which are fundamentally sound, which are process driven, and most importantly, the DNA of running the consumer facing sectors and the consumer facing brands are quite there in the DNA. So the biggest strength that will come on the table is going to be our ability to build the brand and market ourselves in the new city. So the strong awareness program, what it takes to penetrate in the market, is something that will bring on the table with a strong brand and marketing experience. So that's one big plus. Number two, since we have our own farm, we have a very strong farmer network. When I say farmer network, not from the aggregators, but directly from the farm, we understand what it takes to make the farm to table happen in the true sense. In this industry, probably one of the very few who can claim that with the authenticity and the proof. And hence the supply chain is taken care where, we have established supply chain, warehouse, fulfillment process. So the only thing the franchisee needs to be thinking about is get a right store in the right rental, in the right catchment that they believe is having the potential for this. Some level of the market knowledge for that is something that should be there with them. It will help them a lot. Number two, they should be customer centric, because our TG fundamentally expect certain level of service that comes in. So we expect the franchisee to have the customer centric approach and attitude, belief in the customer centricity in the service. And third, belief in certain process and SOP. Retail fundamentally is driven by process and SOPs. So we'll be teaching them, training them a lot on how to manage inventory so that they are very efficient in the process. That's it. So fundamentally, if the franchisee is aligned to these three in terms of choosing the right location, which will help them how to choose a location.
Absolutely.
For them, will help them in what it means as a customer service. We have a full-fledged customer promise department who train the staff with the training manuals and the learning modules that come along. We have a very strong SOP which will train the franchisee on the operation. So all they have to do is be smart in choosing the location. Rest everything will be able to put it in place, including the local marketing that it takes to drive customer into your store.
Karthik, I'll take one more question. Friends, I'll request, and Arunji, you have a lot of questions. We'll be more than happy to share the detailed presentation that we have taken you, and also the financial working. Now, you already have, omni-channel presence, including the physical stores. We have online presence, and there's also a lot of promotions which go online. And so my two questions, one would be on the pricing. Would my pricing be similar on, offline, online platforms? And second, when we get a demand, from a specific location where I already have a partner, for example, how does the online fulfillment, treated? Is that passed on to a franchise partner, and or is it from the company and he takes care of only physical, walk-ins at the store? How does that work out?
Right. So it's an important question. So our e-commerce is currently centralized from our warehouse because that's where the fulfillment is easier. And we believe in the brand experience, and hence we believe the customer fulfillment is the key. When it comes to the franchising model, to answer your two questions, first is we don't believe in the price difference between offline and online, fundamentally because we are not in the business of burning the cash for the sake of acquiring a customer into our website and show the valuation and stuff, because we are not in a VC funded business to show certain growth by burning money. We believe in a very strong, scalable, sustainable business model. And hence the price parity will be there between the online and the offline, because in the end, customer is going to be the same.
Yes.
Only the channel which will decide the convenience, what they want to choose. So the franchisee will not be in a disadvantage for it. Number two, as part of the fulfillment strategy, we'll be happy if the franchisee can deliver it to the end consumer and have the sale. So we'll have an approach where certain of our supply chain cost is covered and they do the last mile delivery, and happy to have the customer as a franchisee customer, because in the end, we don't look at franchisee as another store. We look at it as an integral part of our ecosystem as a partner in the true sense. So we'll be happy if the franchisee equips themselves with the home delivery model, which is extremely critical. Our TG expects on-time delivery,
yes,
meeting the promise that we make to the customer in terms of the time and in the quality of delivery, etc. So till the franchisee is ensuring that the last mile delivery, they are comfortable, we'll be happy to drop ship that order into the store and they can deliver it to the customer. So that's something will make the franchisee benefit out of our e-commerce model.
Very helpful. Friends, I'll just take a moment. They have a very beautiful website, and that will kind of give you some understanding on the various categories. So I'll just take a moment and present this to all of you. And this is the beautiful website they have. And if you look at the categories, also very extensive category mix which they have. And I'll just quickly scroll that down. And friends, I'll request all of you to even go on the website to see. And this is very vast. And typically, how many SKUs would a 1,000 square feet format carry, Karthik?
It should easily carry a 1,500 to a 1,750 SKUs, and it can be packed for the variety that we have. It can truly become a destination shop if stacked well in terms of everything that a household needs. So as I said, if you go into the website, so as you did the right thing, I would strongly suggest the prospective partners to go to the website, browse, get a feel of the category width, because very few brands can have the kind of category with the product with, most importantly, carefully curated products, which are completely kept away from the certain chemicals and preservatives, as I mentioned, not in our eye list. So it's a very new concept that's in India, and we believe the consumers are getting ready for it. And the website, as you mentioned, if they go and start reading about the brand and what it's offering, etc., they will get a very good view of what the brand stands for.
Absolutely. So friends, I'll request all of you reach on the hotline number of Franchise India. Our teams will also speak to you in the starting Monday, and we're planning a discovery day on the 4th of April. So anybody who wants to visit, see the outlets, meet, we'll all request you to reach out to us, and we'll plan this meeting on the 4th. And before we close, Karthik and Divakar, I'll request if there's a word or a message that you want to give out to all the audience.
Right. So the only message I would like to give is we are quite excited with what the brand is, what the offering is, what it means in the Indian market in terms of being in a very differentiated space, though it may look like niche, but it's a differentiated space. And most importantly, it's in the bang in the middle of what the Indian consumer wants as part of what they foresee as their lifestyle becoming for their family and for the next generation, which they want to adapt as a lifestyle. We are in the bang middle of it. So we are quite excited on the way the brand and the store offerings and all has shaped up. We are very strongly believing in the scale to grow into the pan-India presence as a brand. So we will be quite looking forward for the prospective partners with a similar vision, purpose, belief in the space to come on board. And we will look forward to chart a new success story, a great case study for not just for Franchise India, but for the entire industry to look up to for this model becoming a very successful model in the franchisee space as such.
That's wonderful, Karthik and Divakar. I'll request if you would also like to add on.
Yeah, being successful in the well-being of the society, what we do, we also would like to have a partners, investors with whom we can walk along and take this journey forward. And we are an energetic team that who always keen in supporting the investors and taking care of their like what we have expertise, and to bring in the expertise with them with the ease, so that we can partner in success.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Divakar. And friends, I'd like to thank you all for being with us. And thank you, Karthik and Divakar, for coming on the webinar today. And friends, like I mentioned, 4th of April is what we are trying, and to match up the meeting, physical meetings, and also maybe a call if you wish to do, anybody who's outside Hyderabad, Bangalore, maybe Hyderabad, Chennai. And for more information, you can reach out also the hotline number. Our teams at Franchise India working in all the 3 cities would be able to meet with you and set up a call and a meeting to facilitate further discussion. Thank you once again. And Archana, can I now request you to please take it over for your concluding remarks?
Thank you so much, Karthik. Thanks, Divakar. Thanks, Sonia ma'am. Thanks all the dear participants for joining in today. Please connect with us at our business hotline number, which we have shared in the chat box. You can also write to us at feedback@franchiseindia.in. Share your suggestion, feedback to improve our services at our different social handles. Also, You can connect with Gaurav sir and Sonia ma'am at their LinkedIn IDs to get more information about different associations, different services, different franchise options, different events we do. And tomorrow under our 12 p.m. webinar, we are inviting you to join us for Venue. That's the brand which is bringing data centers. It's an opportunity for you to join this particular webinar. Follow simple step, do registration with us. Registration can be done either by visiting us at our Facebook page where we have shared the registration link, or connect, call or SMS us at our business hotline number. Thank you once again for joining in today. Have a great day. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.